What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Charged Up or Damn or the Morning Brew podcast. It's gonna be a rough one, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. We did a Charged Up episode last night and drank a bottle of vodka, and yeah, it's gonna be a rough one, but we're gonna get through it and we're gonna get to it. Welcome to another episode of the Morning Brew podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in. You know, I do got my coffee to get me on the right track. And if you got your coffee, let me know what kind it is. Let me know where it's from. Let me know what you're doing, where you're at. And you know, we do got the Almighty. It's still going. I'll give it that. They burn for a while. Even though it smells like a Black and Mild, they do burn for a while. So I'll give it that. You know what I'm saying? So, good morning, Dylan. Hey, y'all got to get on it like Dylan because Dylan is dedicated. Dylan makes time out of every day to get on here and be involved. And I don't want to say no names, but some of y'all be part-time morning brewers. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need you to be full-time. I'm going to need you to be dedicated like Dylan. You know, Dylan makes it to every episode. Every episode I'm on here, Dylan's on here. And he comes in here with the enthusiasm too. You know what I'm saying? Matt, hey, I see you. We brewed up, the Brewed Up podcast. Brewed up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, it ain't just my success, it's our success. I'm trying to build a family on here, you know? And we're going to have a wide range of different people on here. We're going to make this as diverse as possible so we can get the opinions of many different people so you're not just getting the opinions of one side. Because everybody's different and everybody's dealing with different things in life. So I think it's important to make this as diverse as possible so you can get as many different perspectives as possible. Because you guys might not feel the same way that I feel about certain things. And I might not agree with you. But that doesn't mean that we can't coexist and compromise and figure out that I'm right. No, I'm not. I'm just playing. But everyone's success. Very true. But like I said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I want to go ahead and do the ad reads. Shout out sponsors. Shout out to TNS Bartending Services. If you have a wedding coming up, a birthday party, any event where they will be serving alcohol, make sure you get a hold of TNS Bartending Services. They have a Facebook business page. Make sure you book them for your next event. They have great drinks, great mixologists, great service, great people, very friendly. I've worked with them at multiple weddings. So make sure you check out TNS Bartending Services and book them for your next event. And of course, Connect Coworks, our sponsor and our provider for Friday Morning Brew episodes with Sarita Lawrence. I say it like that because I seen on Facebook last night, she was saying that a lot of people don't say her name right. And I just say it like regular English. I just say Sarita. And I think it's Sarita. So I will say it the right way. Sarita, if you're listening, I will say it the right way. I do want to go ahead and play their ad, the video that I did, and then we will get right into the show.
To Connect Coworks.
There are a lot of things I like about
water,
working
y'all.
at Connect Coworks. I work 100% remotely for my job,
Some
so
of that sparkling
I
water
love being able to come
your
in
cup,
here and
and
having
you
a
mix
variety
some
of
of that,
workspaces to choose
they call
from
that
based on
Neo
what I have going on
shit.
for the day.
Some of the things I like about Connect Coworks is it's right in downtown Marion. When you walk in, it's
Like
just a
that
beautiful
beat.
setting,
It gets
very
you
well
ready to go
decorated,
work, don't it?
and it's convenient.
Coworkers is a really convenient option for me because it's just a short commute from home, but it gives me options that I don't have from home, such as walking to go get a coffee or lunch during my lunch break.
I'm going to make a shorter version of this. I'm not even going to play this every time, but if I do decide to play it, I'm going to make a shorter version of it so that you guys don't have to sit through a 3-minute video before we get the show started.
As a salesman, one of the things that really helps me is before I'd be working in my car and it's 20 degrees out, I'm running the car, or it's in the middle of summertime, it's 100 degrees out. And this provides an excellent space to come. It's quiet,
add reads and
get a lot
stuff.
of work
I'm
done
going to
because
shorten
you
this
can just
video
focus
up
on what
so
you
that
need
when
to
we
do.
do play, like I said, I'm not going to play every time. You want to do a 3-minute video, you can just get the idea. This is all I got right now. It's relatively new. Still. Dang it. We'll get a member. Connect, collaborate. All right, so what's going on, guys? What is going on this morning? If you tuned into the Charged Up podcast last night, then you seen we was on there drinking. So it's been a little rough start to the morning, but I got my coffee to get me on track. And I just really wanted to ask people something on here because I was curious. Does anybody ever get I think they call them migraines with the aura or ocular migraines, where you get these migraines and they mess with your vision? Because it probably started when I was in high school. I started getting these migraines, and the weird part about it is like it would just happen out of nowhere, and I would slowly lose my vision, and it would start on the edge of my vision and it would work its way towards the middle, and it was just like one big blind spot passing through my vision. So it really made me feel like I was going blind or having a stroke. And it always lasts for like an hour, like a perfect hour, and then it goes away, and then I can see again. But that's when that pounding migraine comes, is after that's over. So does anybody else get because apparently what I've been told is they're called ocular migraines or migraines with aura. That's what my physician said that it was called. And I had just been dealing with them for years, and I didn't know if I had a fucking brain tumor or what. But apparently, the more people that I ask about it, the more people know about it and experience it. And I never knew that it was such a common occurrence. I thought I was the only one that was dealing with this, but they're real crippling. I had one yesterday, and it's like whenever those come on and I can't see nothing, it's like all I want to do is just sit in a dark room until it passes, because I know that it's going to be a pounding headache afterwards. And I don't know if you guys realize how much we rely on our vision, but with my vision just going out a little bit, it's like I can't even function right. So let me know in the comments if you experience them ocular migraines or migraines with an aura or whatever they call them, because those things can be scary if you don't know what it is. Because I know the first couple of years that I had them, like I was like, man, I might be dying for real. But now it's just like a regular occurrence. Like I get them like once every 3 months, which isn't bad, but it sucks. It's like that 45 minutes out of that 3 months is a sucky 45 minutes, man. Okay, so I know we were talking about yesterday on the Morning Brew how they do not care about us. They don't care what's in our food. All they want to do is make addicts out of us and keep us coming back. So then in turn, we can keep going to the hospital to deal with diabetes and obesity and being prescribed these medications. And it's just one big cycle. And this news right here just proves everything that we talked about yesterday. McDonald's is to start selling Krispy Kreme donuts in 2026. If that isn't a fucking dynamic duo. First of all, I love Krispy Kreme donuts. I love their regular glazed donuts. So I'm not going to get on here and act like some health wizard that is against this, because I more than likely will go get them Krispy Kreme donuts, because ever since Kroger started selling them Krispy Kreme donuts, I have been there a few times to get those Krispy Kreme donuts. So I'm not going to act like I am opposed. But we all know that McDonald's and Krispy Kreme isn't the best combination if you're trying to be healthy or trying to lose weight. So I just thought it was kind of funny that news came out yesterday afternoon. Well, it might have came out before that, but I seen it yesterday afternoon, right after we got done talking about how these people do not care about us, and all they want to do is make us addicts with the food that they put out. And they just put out they put a bunch of poison in our food with these addictive chemicals to keep us coming back. And this is a clear-cut sign right here that they don't give a fuck about our health, because that is like, I can't even make that comparison, because you're introducing Krispy Kreme to McDonald's, two unhealthy places, and you're putting them all together in one place. So it's the one-stop shop for everything. You can get a Big Mac and a 12-piece glazed all at the same place in 2026. And that's the kind of path that we're headed down. It ain't going to get no better. I just thought that was crazy. I thought it was funny after we were just talking about how they don't care about us, and we were talking about our food yesterday and the ingredients in our food and how unhealthy everything is, to just see that McDonald's is going to start selling Krispy Kreme donuts in 2026. What a great idea. And America will be obese again. Make America obese again. Make America obese again. 2 years away. I know there's going to be some people that got the countdown. And it's going to get to the point where I'm just going to have to be like, yeah, I can't go to McDonald's anymore. It's not because I don't like them. It's just because I know it's not in my best interest. Because I have got to the point, and I don't know if anybody else has got to the point, but once I reached a certain age, because I always would hear I always would hear like my parents and my grandparents, my aunts and my uncles, like after they would eat something salty, they would always be like, yeah, I need something sweet. So I know if I go to McDonald's and just get a regular value meal, which there isn't much value in their meals no more, which is weird that it's called a value meal. If you go to McDonald's and get a value meal, I know I'm going to be that person that says, oh, I got to get something sweet afterwards. After I demolish this 10-piece nugget, I got to have something sweet afterwards. So then I'm going to have to get some Krispy Kreme to go with it. And it's just going to be a downhill spiral. See, Dylan, you're lurking into dangerous territory now. You're lurking into dangerous territory, and you're giving people bad ideas. And that sounds like diabetes or a heart attack right there. And I know there are some places that do use donuts for the buns on hamburgers. And I never tried them, but I would imagine a Krispy Kreme hamburger would probably go pretty hard, because I don't know many donuts that are fucking with Krispy Kreme. So Krispy Kreme Big Mac, I don't know about that, because I don't know what that Big Mac sauce is going to taste like on a Krispy Kreme donut. And if you tune in to this, then we probably sound super fat on here, because the first topic that I wanted to talk about this morning was McDonald's selling Krispy Kremes in 2026. So I apologize, but I just thought it kind of went hand in hand with what we was talking about yesterday, as far as them not caring about what goes into our food. So yeah, but so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that bridge blowing up, because now apparently, and I didn't get the video and I should have. Now apparently, there are people zooming in on the footage of the Baltimore Bridge blowing up. And if you zoom in, then you can see what looks like little charges being let off on there. So do we think? And I know that they had an engineer comment on the way that bridge blew up, and he didn't think that it looked right. So what do you guys think? You guys think that got any conspiracy theories about that Baltimore bridge? Or do you just think it was a freak accident? Because that's the one thing that I'm wondering about it, is if it was planned, what were they trying to do? What were they trying to accomplish by running that shipping container into that bridge? Because I don't know. There's always some people was like, oh, Diddy was about to get caught, so they ran a shipping container into a bridge. Nah, I don't think that. I don't think that was the reason. There's probably something deeper in it. What was on the shipping container? That's what I'm trying to figure out now, guys. What was on the shipping container? What was on that shipping container? I don't know. They're talking about a whole. How you gonna post an article about the fucking bridge being hit by a shipping container and then talk about everything except the bridge being hit by a shipping container in the article? That's the shit I hate. Oh yeah, I'm glad you're in here, Kiki, because I did want to talk about that, and I damn sure would have forgot about it if you wouldn't have hopped in here. She said it's probably a distraction for sure. She sent me something yesterday, and I'm gonna try to pull it up here. What the fuck were them big ass purple things called that you sent? Monster. I'll just put monsters. She sent me something yesterday, and it was kind of crazy because what she said, of course, I don't know what the fuck those things are called. She sent me something yesterday. And it really, yeah, okay. So this is what the fuck it was. I didn't know what to type. I didn't know what the fuck to type in to find it. But she sent me this yesterday. See if I can blow this shit up here. Can we get a bigger image? Here we go. So these fucking things right here. Why, bro? Technology sometimes just supposed to make shit easier, make shit way fucking harder. So this shit right here, you guys can see that. If you guys watch that Scooby-Doo mystery or Spooky Island or whatever the fuck it was called, then they had these creatures on there. And these describe to a T what people have claimed to be seeing. And Kiki, help me remember, because I haven't seen that movie in a while. Were these like fake projections that they were using in that movie? Like they weren't real, like they didn't end up being real monsters. I don't think they ever do on the Scooby-Doo movies, but or were they real on that? I don't know, but either way, kind of feel like that movie was pre-programming people to kind of desensitize them to one day be ready to see some shit like this. But that movie came out a long time ago, though. Like when I was younger, it came out. But it's just kind of crazy because this is kind of like what they're describing to a T now. Like if you look at the features in the face, like the pointed ears and stuff, it kind of reminds me of what they're describing when these people are saying that they're seeing demons in people. And then how big this fucking creature is in these pictures is the first thing that popped into my mind when she sent me this was the description of what they were seeing in that Miami mall. Those 10 to 12 foot creatures that they were seeing in that Miami mall. This is the first thing that popped in my head when she sent me this. Like, She said, no, they were actual people turning into those monsters, but they were under some kind of trance. Yeah, so that even makes it apply more, because if it's actual people turning into that, then that would, because if you have that diagnosis that they was talking about, that rare condition, then it would almost seem like that you woke up one day and started seeing people turn into some shit like this. But I just thought it was funny because the facial features kind of go with what they were describing them demons to look like that people were seeing. And then the size of these things really made me think about what they were describing was walking around in the mall. And I'm not saying it's a Scooby-Doo character, but they might have came out with that shit to desensitize you to, so when you actually see it, you don't freak out. But if I see that shit, I'm still going to freak out the same fucking way. I promise you that. So I don't know, man. It's all interesting shit. And then they got this slime swamp monster, this random ass slime swamp monster there. But I don't know, bro. It's just, there's a lot of shit, a lot of weird shit happening, and I'm interested to see where it ends up going. I don't know if I want it to go there, but I'm interested to see where this shit ends up going, because there's a lot of weird shit happening. And I mean, me and Shaq was talking about it last night. Like, there has been mental conditions around for hundreds of years that people have known about, like schizophrenia, dementia, Alzheimer's, all that shit. Like, we've had that shit around for hundreds of years. So when we hear about it now, it's not like this just rare new condition that popped up out of nowhere. So how are you going to try to convince people that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, people have started developing this rare condition where they see demons out of nowhere, after you've never heard about this you've never heard about this previously to this point? Now all of a sudden something happens to where you have this rare condition where you're able to see demons and shit. She said also in the movie, there's a moment where the person is starting to change into the monster. It looks like those sketches you showed on here yesterday. Yeah, I don't know, man. They might have been on some Simpsons shit and been predicting the future, which I know the Simpsons are like 20 for 20 on that shit when it comes to predicting the future. Yeah, and there's actually a TV show series that I watched, and it kind of reminded me of that. It's called Grimm, and it's this Grimm. I'll pull it up on here for you. And it's this guy, and he has the ability to see these creatures that nobody else has the ability to see, and his job is to go around and, I think, kill them or fucking take them into custody or something. But I don't know. I'll pull it up. This right here. This show right here. And like this guy right here, he had the ability to see this shit that nobody else was able to see. So he was responsible for going around and taking care of them, and I mean like killing them, So he was pretty much like a witch hunter for these creatures that only he could see. It was a good ass show. I mean, it kind of seemed a little low budget, but it was a good ass show though. Like this shit right here, like this looks like some demonic shit. And that was some of the shit that they was going after. So, and this downright just is fucking demonic. Yes. He's got like a goat face or whatever the fuck that is. But okay, so I think she just sent me a picture on Facebook Messenger. Mary Jane is a man. Yeah, what's that from? Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this is from that scary. This is from that scary the fuck am I trying to say? Scooby-Doo movie. Yeah, so this shit right here really does look like what they were describing in them photos. And that was from that Scooby-Doo movie. This was when this was the girl in the Scooby-Doo movie that started to turn into one of those creatures. And that's pretty spot on. That's pretty spot on for what those sketch artists drew, matching up with that. So I don't know, man. I mean, what would you guys do? What would you guys do if you woke up one day and started seeing that shit. I'm going back to bed after I go to McDonald's and get some Krispy Kremes, of course. But I'm going back to bed, y'all. I'm not staying up to deal with that shit. I'm going back to bed and hitting the reset button, and hopefully when I wake up tomorrow, I ain't seeing the same shit. Oh, okay, sure. I already said that. Okay. So what I mean, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's just some crazy shit. And then the P Diddy thing's coming out now, and they're talking. I know it's fucking whole other topic. And now they're saying like Jay-Z was involved with P Diddy on all of it, and I don't even know what to think about the fucking world right now because there's so much shit going on. There's a whole lot to even try to digest. Like they're saying that people are seeing demons. You know, they're saying that the majority of all the people that made everything that we watched and listened to growing up have this big sex trafficking pedophile ring. You know, they're literally poisoning us every time we eat something out here. There's just a whole lot of fucking shit going on in the world, man. And it's a little hard to digest. It gets a little exhausting trying to keep up with all of it. Kiki said, well, I feel like your natural reaction is to attack or run and people going to look at you crazy. Yeah, I'm probably, if they're that big, I'm probably not going to attack them. And if they look like that, then they probably have some kind of, if they're that big and they look like that and we haven't seen them for this long, then they probably have some kind of supernatural abilities that I'm not able to fuck with. So I'm not going to try to fuck with them. But then again, can you run? Because if they do have those abilities, you probably can't outrun them either. So, I mean, try to shoot them, try to catch them on fire. Other than that, you might just have to chalk it up and say a prayer on the way out because it's not looking good for you. If all that shit starts popping up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would imagine that that's some stuff that happens. Like, and I know it was a comedy, but regardless of what kind of movies they are, I think that there are hidden messages in all of them. And I know the movie with Seth Rogen and all them celebrities called This Is the End. I know it was a comedy and everything, but if you remember when the rapture happened in that movie, you had fucking creatures walking around on Earth as they were getting sucked up into the sky. So if that's the shit that's going to be walking around on Earth when the rapture happens and we start getting taken up into heaven, I hope I'm not the one left down here with those things because that's going to be a terrible feeling. Live in peace with the demons. No, I mean, no, man. You're going to have to be a demon. You're going to have to be on demon time. You're going to have to be on demon time for real, man. I ain't trying to affiliate with them. I don't want nothing to do with them. You looking like that? Nah, I'm cool. You're looking like that? No. No, sir. Wanna hopefully get my ticket to heaven. Hopefully punch my ticket to heaven and not have to deal with that shit. Yeah. But good Wednesday morning, everyone. Like I said, just a whole lot of shit going on. It's gonna be kind of a more relaxed episode. Like I said, we did the charged up episode last night. So I've been trying to bust these out. So this is gonna be more of a free flowing episode. I really didn't put much of a outline together. So we can just get on here and conversate. You know, we can just get on here and have a good time. And if there's something you guys want to talk about, let me know. Like I said, there's so much going on in the world today. I don't even know where to start. And I know that there's that one Simpsons picture where Homer is taking, let me try to pull that up. Homer is taking like people's faces off of them, like these politicians are standing up at a podium and Homer takes their faces off, and underneath of their faces is like aliens. So see if I can find that. Yeah, I knew this shit was gonna be hard to find. So wouldn't that be some fucked up? Wouldn't that be some crazy shit if you had some politicians up giving a speech at an event or something like that, and somebody ran up and just grabbed their face and pulled it off, and underneath their face was a fucking demon or the alien or whatever the fuck they're describing in these sketch artists? It wasn't this video, it wasn't this photo, but I mean, this was kind of like the gist of what I seen it on Twitter. This was what was under the fucking mask right here. Like he pulled their faces off, and this was up underneath of it. So, and I know the Simpsons are like 20 for 20 on predicting shit. So wouldn't that be crazy if there was like an event happening and somebody ran up and grabbed one of the politicians' face? And I mean, there are images that people zoom in on where like Joe Biden's up talking and shit, and it looks like he's got like a cut under his neck, like he's got a rubber mask on or something like that. So wouldn't that be crazy if motherfuckers were up there talking and somebody just ran up, grabbed their face, and pulled it off, and it was a fucking demon or alien or whatever the fuck you might think it is underneath of it? That would change the world as we know it. I think it's super cool you're shouting out TNS. I worked a party for them. Yeah, man, they're one of the sponsors. They've been one of the day ones. We originally started the Charged Up podcast first, and it was probably the second or third episode that we did that. Thomas reached out and said that he wanted to be a sponsor of the podcast because he really liked it. So, you know, he's been a sponsor ever since, and we're going to have their logo, and I'm always going to do an ad read for them because I appreciate the support, and I appreciate the fact that they're helping us out, you know, because this is all still new. You know, we're still trying to build a solid platform with a solid group of people that can join us every day. And whether that's early in the morning on the Morning Brew or a little later at night with a drink on the Charged Up podcast, we just want more people in here to interact. And I know there are always going to be those people that they don't want to come in here because they don't like you for certain reasons. And that's fine. You know, those aren't the type of people that I want in here. But what I do want in here, and what is always going to be in here, is there's going to be good conversation, and we're going to talk about what's going on in the world, and we're just going to share ideas and talk about how to improve people's lives, man, because it's just going to be positivity in here. We ain't going to be on here on no gossip, drama shit, or nothing like that. So, you know, if you fuck with us, then you fuck with us, and if you don't, then you don't. Either way, we're going to drink this coffee, and we're going to talk our shit. That's what's going to happen. Some people said Biden is an alien. You know, if Dylan, if Biden is an alien, then that means that everybody else in the government has to be an alien, because, I mean, if he's an alien, you ain't going to convince me that they don't know he's an alien, which if they're okay with him being an alien, then they're probably an alien too, you know? So, I mean, what better way to control humans without humans knowing that you're here than to pose as a human yourself? And I mean, you've seen all these movies where they dress people up and they put the layers of the fake skin on them and they completely turn them into a different person for the movie. You're able to completely turn somebody into a different, and you guys seen the Jackass skits where they turn Johnny Knoxville into an old man and he looks like a completely different person as an old man. So you can't tell me that they're not able to do that shit. They're definitely able to do that shit. And I'm not saying that he's a fucking alien, but it might not always be his ass. So she said, I've been going down the rabbit hole for the last couple of days. The rabbit hole about what? Yeah, you think Biden's an alien, or you think that we're being ran by aliens? Because I don't know what their end goal is. If we're being ran by, because we always think of aliens as intelligent beings. So I would figure if they were taking control of the government, I would think that they were trying to lead us in a better direction without exposing themselves. But it just seems like we're getting led down the direction of extinction. So I don't know if there's more intelligent beings posing as people to help us. And I don't even know if they would want to help us. They might be trying to get rid of us in that way, you know, but that's hard telling. Jim Carrey and the Grinch. Yeah. First of all, that Grinch movie was the best Grinch movie. Jim Carrey was born for that fucking part. One of my favorite movies, and I don't even care if it's Christmas or not. But the makeup artist and the job they did turning him into the Grinch, like if you're able to do that, then you're able to turn anybody into anything or anybody else. Like if you wanted to make a politician look like somebody else for a day, if you wanted to make this politician look like Joe Biden because Joe Biden actually died 2 years ago, and you want to have this guy fill in for him and act like him, then I have no doubt in my mind that you would be able to turn somebody else into Joe Biden, and it would be on point to a T. And you would be able to convince everybody. And I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the shit about what's the name of the lady that apparently has cancer now? She's over in another country. She's a queen or a princess or whatever she is. And like she came out with the video like announcing that she had cancer and stuff. And like they're zooming in on certain shit and they're like, this is AI. Like this is definitely an artificial intelligence. Like, cause she has a ring. When she came out, she in the video where she was talking about being diagnosed with cancer, like she has a ring on her finger, and as she's moving her hands and talking, like there's certain scenes where the ring completely disappears, and then she'll move her hands some more, and the ring will pop back on her finger. And they're coming out now saying, yeah, this is definitely AI. Like this isn't a real video. And she's wearing like the same sweater that she was wearing. Yeah, Kate Middleton. She's wearing the same sweater that she was wearing like years ago in a whole different video. And it's like, I don't know, man. They're really going above and beyond to fuck with us. I mean, it's really gotten to a point where it's the Twilight Zone now. Like you literally have to question everything. We have gotten to such a point with technology that there is no way to prove that anything is real at this point. I mean, motherfuckers really might be living in a simulation. Because there's no way to prove that anything's real. If they got hidden technology that they're not telling nobody about, then I mean, they could fake anything. They can make you think anything. Oh, and about everything. Give us some specifics. What have you been most interested in lately? What has really caught your attention? Like when you go down these rabbit holes, what really intrigues you the most? What keeps you up until 2 a.m. looking at more shit about it? Dilla said, do we live in a parallel universe, multiverse? See, when it gets to that spaceship, it's really a spaceship. When it gets to that space shit, it's really hard to wrap your mind around the possibilities because there's so much shit out there that we haven't seen yet. And once you start talking about time and space, like there's so many possibilities with that. Like I'm not going to discount it. Like the fact that there might be another you out there somewhere in another universe making different decisions or doing some of the same shit. It's possible, man. And the universe is so damn big. I mean, it's a possibility that there could be another you out there doing some of the same shit. But it's crazy. She said, have you ever listened to anything about Jeffrey Epstein and how he was involved with the royals? I mean, I heard about his island. I heard about the island and how they were apparently taking underage kids there and using them as sex slaves and shit. And there was supposed to be a big group of famous people and people in power that would make regular trips there. So yeah, I've heard that about it a little bit. Now they're trying to say that, and I don't know if this is a reach or not, but they're trying to say that the Nickelodeon logo, like the orange splat logo for Nickelodeon, is the same exact shape as Epstein's island. I don't know. That might be reaching a little bit. You know, sometimes people try to connect dots that ain't there. But I don't know. I guess you could say that. And like they put it in a computer simulation where they took that logo and they put it over top of the island. But then they started stretching it out to make it fit the island and stuff. And I was like, okay, if you're going to say that, then you got to be able to put it on top of the island and it has to match up perfectly. You shouldn't have to stretch anything to make it fit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But yeah, I did hear about some of that, but I knew that there was a list that was supposed to come out a long time ago. And I don't know if the list ever came out, which might be why they're doing all this crazy shit now to cause distractions, because they don't want it to come out that all these people higher up in government and shit like that was part of it, but I don't know. So I think what really blows my mind, and I start going down the rabbit hole, is about the different levels of social class and what is going on with the elites. We are just peasants to them. Yeah, I mean, like we literally don't exist to them, and they have the power and the money and the connections to do anything that they want. And I mean, if you control news networks and you control most businesses, then you're able to persuade most people and get them to do what you want them to do. If I'm a fan of this huge celebrity, like when you have situations like this, and I'm not trying to talk down on Taylor Swift, I'm not one of them Taylor Swift haters, but when in situations like what you're talking about, if they have Taylor Swift on the payroll because say she's in the Illuminati and she had to go through some initiation process and sell her soul to the devil, in a situation like that, if you have a person like Taylor Swift who has this huge fan base and you get her to push your agenda, you know how many people that automatically gets to do what you want to do just because they're such a fan of her that anything she says is going to be right to them in their mind. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless when it comes to these people that have all this money and power and this influence when it comes to celebrities and stuff. All they have to do is get that celebrity to go out to their fan base and tell them what's right, what you should do, and what kind of person you should be. And that's what those people are going to be because they look to her like God. You know, they look to her like God. Dylan said, "My version of the possibility we was created by God, our creator, but there are galaxies with exact human copies of us, just thousands and hundreds of years before us, and they have their own creator." So you think that there are different gods for like different galaxies and stuff like that? See, I don't know about that because I mean, everything that I've always been taught when it comes to like God was that he created the whole universe. So that would make him the creator of all living things, whether in this galaxy or not. Now, if you believe that we were created by like extraterrestrials, then there could very well be different species of extraterrestrials out there that are responsible for life on different planets. And I guess you would look at them as your God if they created you. But everything that we know and everything that we've been taught religiously wise was that the whole universe was created by one creator and one God, and he created everything. You know what I mean? Let there be light. The Big Bang. That shit always does. Like when you start thinking deep into it, it makes you go down like it just takes if you ever like point a camera at say you hook your camera up to a TV screen and you're able to see what's going through the camera lens on that screen and you point your camera at it and it's just like a never ending frame of what that camera's seeing. That's probably what like the fucking universe is like, probably. So I mean, it's just once you start thinking about it, it's like, well, what happened before that? What happened before the universe? If there's a God, what created God? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because everything that we know, there has to be, because when we think of anything, we know that there has to be a creator. But if God doesn't exist in the frame or if God doesn't exist in the confines of time and space, then would there need to be a creator for him? Or is there another way that we don't know, you know? Each creator tries to perfect human life with different possibilities. So you think that they might be treating it might be like an ant farm, like they might be going to different worlds and putting different species on each world and seeing which one has the best outcome. I don't know. Interesting theory. It's not a war on race. It's not a war on drugs. It's literally a war on social class, who has money and who is poor, and we do not work together. And really, the poor are just slaves to the rich. Yeah, I mean, and it's not hard to see, and I wish more people would see it. When you look at the news networks like CNN, Fox News, and then you look just what the government does in general when you're talking about Democrats and Republicans, they are constantly at every turn trying to divide us as a society. Because there is no reason why you should have, when you're almost treating it like a team. You have Democrats and Republicans. Why are we treating it like two teams going against each other when these people all should be working together? And I feel like when you start calling yourself a Republican or you start calling yourself a Democrat, then you get accustomed to, okay, I'm a Republican, so everything the Republicans say got to be right. And you stop actually using your brain to think if what they're saying is right. In same way with the Democrats. I think a lot of times we just have to use common sense, and we have to realize that they are trying to divide us because they know that we have numbering powers. Even though we are not rich and we don't have a lot of money, we do have the numbers. And if we ever start working together, it's just going to be like the revolution. If we start working together, then we're able to take this shit back over and do shit the right way. And that's what they're afraid of. So that's why every turn, when it comes to the news stations, when it comes to the political parties, when it comes to most shit now, they are trying to divide us so that we don't work together and we don't think together, because they don't want that. Because that's the biggest threat to them, is if we do come together and we start figuring out ways to fix this shit and overthrow these career politicians. You got these motherfuckers in politics for 60 years, ain't did shit. And that's them career politicians, man. You got them in politics for 60 years, ain't did shit, and they're sitting there getting rich, fucking up the country. That should never be happening. But do you know what would make these people go into politics and actually change shit for the better? Is if you gave them a limited amount of time that they could be in there, and then they have to get their ass out. They would actually be in there trying to fix shit, because they would have to come out and be one of us again eventually. But if they're career politicians, they ain't worried about that. They ain't worried about fixing shit, because they don't ever have to come out here and be one of us again. They can just sit there and collect that check, not doing shit, fucking everything up. It's just a fucked up world we're living in, man. In a parallel universe, there's a constant of Big Bang occurrences happening in that galaxy. I don't know, man. Because I thought the Big Bang was responsible for the whole universe in which these galaxies are inside of. And it kind of like, I thought that was the most intriguing thing in one of the Men in Black movies. It was like when they zoomed out of our universe and you just had these aliens playing with marbles, and our fucking universe was inside one marble. And he had a whole bag of marbles just playing marbles. And our whole universe was inside of one of those marbles. This shit might be, bro, there might be some shit out there that looks at us like bacteria. I mean, you know how we look at bacteria through a microscope? We can't even see it with the naked eye. There might be some shit out there that's so big that they can't even see us with the naked eye. Like, they would have to look at us under a microscope to even fucking see us. And we think that we're these fucking intelligent ass big shots. And there might be some shit out there that's way bigger than that. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting to think about and really get your mind turning in the morning. I tell you what, man. I appreciate y'all being in here, man, because I really respect the fact that you guys are able to come in here at 10 a.m. and start talking about the fact that there might be aliens and shit. Man, I love it. I love it, man. It's a good way to start off the morning with a good conversation, you know? I've been thinking about it at night trying to sleep. Yeah, that's when I think about most shit like that, is when I lay down at night, my mind's still racing and it's trying to slow down and shut down. I start going like deep into that shit. Like, okay, well, what's beyond this? What's beyond this? Well, if that's because does there have to be a beginning point? And once you get to that beginning point, you sit there and you think like, well, where did that point come from? And that's how you know that shit really isn't as simple as we think it is, because at a certain point, something has to go out of our ability to comprehend it. Something has to go against everything that we've ever understood. Because if you go back to the very first point in time, before anything existed and when everything was created, if you go back to the very beginning of time, the biggest question that most people have is, well, whatever's in that very beginning of time, where did that come from? You know, that's the biggest question, because whenever we think about shit, we always think of something coming from something else. So if you get to a certain point when you go back far enough where something just literally came out of thin air and came out of nothing, then that goes against everything we know, and it doesn't make any sense to us. So, I mean, once you go back far enough to a certain point, there has to be some point where it goes out of our comprehension, where we're not able to comprehend how this shit happened. And once you get to that point where you're not able to scientifically explain it, that is what we call magic now. That is what we call supernatural or magic, when you're not able to have a scientific explanation for something, and it goes beyond all and everything we understand. That is what we now call magic or supernatural. So I think at a certain point it does get there. It does get there. So I don't know. It just makes sense to me. Kiki said, I like watching your podcast. To be honest, I even talk about it with my friends. Hey, yeah, spread the word, man. And that's why I tell people that watch on here, go tell your friends, because then they can get in here in the chat too. And then we can all talk about this together. You know what I'm saying? Because if you enjoy it, then you probably affiliate with people that enjoy a lot of the same shit that you enjoy. So they would probably enjoy the podcast too. So, I mean, yeah, man, that's just, that was one of my goals with the Morning Brew, was to create a good size group of people on here, family, viewers, whatever you want to call it, and have you guys in here, and we can just get on here at 10 a.m., have our coffee, get ready for the day, and just talk about what's going on in life and what the newest thing is and what's really going on in the world. And, there's times on here where I get on here and I try to like motivate people to be better people. And, like I said, I want to have somebody on here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with me in a perfect world, and I'm still working on that. I already have Martin in here on Thursdays. We talk about God, and I think that's a huge thing that help people, and I think people enjoy in their morning plans. And then I have Sarita in here, which is something that I really wanted to focus on, was getting a female presence on here, because I think it's very important to have both sides of certain conversations. I think it's very important to have a male perspective and a female perspective. I don't want to have a podcast where you're just constantly hearing guys' side of things, because that's not a real podcast. You know what I mean? If you're not getting both sides of the story, then you're only getting one side. And if you're only getting one side, then you're missing out on a whole lot of information. So we ain't going to do that, But I'm still working on getting somebody on here as a regular Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then, man, I just want to build this thing up. I just want to build this thing up. I want to have a bunch of people in here every day at 10 a.m. just chatting it up, man, having a good time. Make it part of your daily routine. So, yeah, spread the word. You know what I mean? Spread the word, because the bigger this thing gets, the more merchandise I'm going to get, the more giveaways I'm going to do. I'm going to make it to where, like, people that because I know not everybody can get on every day, especially being 10 a.m. and it's on a weekday. People got things going on. But I do want to put something together for, like, subscribers that have a viewing streak. Like, say you were able to tune in 5 days in a row without missing an episode. You know what I mean? So I want to do something special for people who do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just make it a fun, interactive place to go, man, and just start your day off on the right foot. What about colors? Who said the color yellow is yellow before they said it's yellow? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they figured that shit out neither. You know what I always thought too? Who decided that a suit and tie was the way you're supposed to dress for an interview? Who said a suit and tie was the appropriate way to look whenever you go to a job interview? Because the very first person who came up with that could have very well said, wearing a pink clown suit is the way you should dress for a job interview. And everybody would have just went along with it, and that could have just been the regular nowadays. So, I mean, who's to say what's right and what's wrong, when it comes down to shit like that? I always thought about that too. Like, there's somewhere along the way, there had to be that first person that was like, okay, if you have a job interview, a suit and tie is what you're supposed to wear to your job interview. well, who the fuck made you boss? Who the fuck gave you the power to decide what I'm supposed to wear to this job interview? You know what I'm saying? But especially the Morning Brew, I work from home, so it's easy to tune in. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people that tune into this work from home. And it's just one of those things, man. Like, when I created these podcasts, I was trying to figure out a time where most people would be able to tune in. And what I found was with the Charged Up podcast, most people are getting ready for bed when we do that because they have work the next day. And then with the Morning Brew podcast, most people are going to work when we do that. So I figured that I would just kind of keep both flowing, and then whoever was able to turn into whatever one, cool. And if you're able to turn into both, then even better. But it's real hard to figure out a time that works for everybody, especially throughout the week. Everybody's busy working, you know what I'm saying? Most jobs don't allow you to have your phone. So I know it's really hard for some people at 10 a.m. to be able to make it here every day and tune in. But I appreciate those of you that do. Like, I know Dylan, he takes his lunch break and stuff when the show starts just so he can be on here. And that's dedication, man. And you know, I don't want you guys to think that you're ever doing it for me. Like, I want this to be a place that you guys come to in the mornings and you guys actually enjoy coming here and actually enjoy partaking in on the conversations and seeing what we're talking about for the day. You know, Kiki said, do you guys have dreams or night terrors? If I get too much sleep, I believe I start to dream, or at least I remember it, I suppose. People say we dream, but we don't remember it. When I was young, I definitely had more nightmares when I was younger. I rarely, now that I think about it, now that you said that, I rarely have dreams or nightmares now. Yeah, I mean, I guess I hadn't thought about it in a while. Now that I've probably for like the last 5 years, I've rarely had any dreams or nightmares. And I don't know if that's because I don't get a deep sleep to bring them on or what, but yeah, I can't even remember the last time I had a dream or a nightmare. But I know that when I do have them, I can remember them pretty vividly. Like, I know a lot of people, the longer they're awake, the more and more it fades away out of their memory. But I can remember my dreams and my nightmares pretty vividly, though. And there are some ones that really stick out to me when I was younger that I still remember till this day that were just downright fucking terrifying. And I don't know what it was about those dreams, but it was just like, you have them nightmares where it kind of feels like there's a whole nother presence with you, where it's like, okay, this is an evil presence bringing this dream or nightmare on. So, all right, Dylan, have a good day, man. I appreciate you tuning in. I don't expect you to be here if we go over an hour, man. So the fact that you was just able to get on here and interact, appreciate you, man. Have a good day. Enjoy your work. But yeah, as far as the nightmares go, you know, I haven't had no nightmares or no dreams in a long time. It's probably been at least 5 years since I've had like a dream or a nightmare. But when I do have them, I do remember them pretty vividly. Like, there was one that stuck out to me when I was a kid, and it was one of the scariest random ones ever. And it just felt like that there was some like evil shit involved in it. Like, I was at a flea market of all places. I was at a flea market, and it was just like a constant maze. Because you know how at like flea markets, you go down all these aisles and there are like storage units where they have whatever they're selling set up, right? Well, I was in this flea market and I was going down all these different aisles, and every time I would pass one of those units, like, it would just be completely empty, but it would have like human bones laying in it and shit. And it got to the point where I was like trying to get out and I couldn't find a way out of the fucking flea market. Like, it just kept going around and around and around. And it was just some real spooky shit, bro. Like, I can't even explain why I would have had that dream. Like a lot of my, like if I have nightmares, like I can explain why I have them a lot of times. Like it's either got something to do with what I did during that day or something that I have coming up. But that was just like, that was some spooky shit. And it was just a lot of times with shit like that, it's not really what happened in it that freaks you out the most, but it's kind of the feeling that you get while it's happening. Like, man, this is some evil shit. Like I just feel a whole nother type of presence here. But I don't know, man. But we have hit that hour mark. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Like I said, this was a more free-flowing episode. I really didn't have an outline put together. Me and Shaq did a charged up episode last night. I didn't get to bed until late. So I still did want to get on here and check in with you guys, just holler at you guys, see how your morning's going. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you share, comment, like, all that shit. All that shit helps spread the word. But like I said, appreciate you guys. And until tomorrow, when I'm on here with Martin Harris, I will see you. Hold on one second. I do want to get to the only reason why I asked is because I'll go down the rabbit hole and start thinking about our dreams and what our mind is trying to show us or tell us, like a spiritual warning. Yeah, I do that too. Like I did have a little streak where I was having dreams about all of my teeth falling out. And then I looked into it more and they said that when you have dreams that all of your teeth are falling out, it's because you feel like your life is spiraling out of control or some shit like that. So yeah, I don't know. There's probably more meaning behind those things. But like I know that was a scary ass dream too, because it's like I couldn't even imagine what I would, because it was a time when I was still in school too. And you know how when you're in school, you care so much about what everybody fucking thinks of you. So the fact that I was having this nightmare about all my teeth falling out, like the first thing that I was thinking about in these dreams was, fuck, I got to go to school and everybody going to see me with no teeth. So that shit was super scary to me. But yeah, man, there's a lot of hidden messages in that shit. I'm sure that if you really dive deep into it, you could probably figure out what was really going on in your head. Some real self-reflection. Probably some type of shit that you experience when you take like hallucinogens or some mushrooms or some of that DMT that they talk about. But all right, you guys have a good day. Love you guys. Appreciate you tuning in.